just to introduce myself, I'm Kimmy Smith, the co-founder, creative and style director of Athleisure Media. Many of you have either seen our magazines or different focuses that we're doing, and we're so excited to be able to launch a new feature today with one of my favorite bachelorettes, Michelle Young. This is Voted Party. It's an interactive, fun way that you get to it's a voted IO party, a very fun way that you get to interact with everyone and hear from your favorite people. Michelle is super inspirational. So to be able to sit down and have a conversation with her and talk about her time on the show, self-care and, mental health, which is really important to us here at Athleisure Media anyway. And also a very big thing, that we should all be thinking about, especially as we continue through the next crazy weeks. And then after we finish with Michelle, we're going to have a fun time for anyone that's like still hanging out with us to do a fun treasure hunt interactive game. It doesn't have anything to do with Michelle, but it's still fun and very pop culture in nature. So I will myself and Paul Farkas, who's off camera, but also watching, we'll keep our eye on other people that are coming in to get them in. And anyone who might be missing this or getting in the middle at the point or whatever, we are going to have this on video that you can see on our YouTube channel, and a post email will let you know about that. And we'll also make sure that you will be able to catch her in our issue that's coming up that drops at the end of this month. So with that, we're going to turn it over to talking about Michelle. I've seen every season, and ever since I can remember, literally the Bachelorette, as well as the first Bachelor that arrived. And one of my favorite things that, I enjoy is seeing the different people when they're coming into the Bachelor or the Bachelorette, and seeing all the different, like, who's their stories, what's this. So when you first entered on the Bachelor, I called it immediately. I was like, wait, Michelle's beautiful. She's from the Midwest, just like me. So I love it. And she's also someone that, yeah, even if she doesn't get married to the Bachelor, she can definitely helm her own show. And I hope they give her the chance to do that. And so, what drew you to wanting to be on the show, which has actually been something that a lot of people have been asking us that have been joining?
I feel like that's like a huge question. Okay, well, in order to see me come on The Bachelor, you would have had to wait for like what, week 3, week 4, because I came on. That was not a part of the plan. I will say that. Honestly, I never was like, I really want to be on the show. It's something that I watched with my mom for a little bit, and I always felt like, okay, I feel like I could do that, but I never actually thought that opportunity would ever come across my plate. I typically always was kind of like interested in like, how do people get on the show? Like, do they get nominated? I knew that there was an application process. I didn't apply. I was nominated. I have yet to this day, I have no idea who nominated me. Nobody's owned up to it. My friends, I know my friends really, really well. And I remember when I got chosen as the Bachelorette, I was like, can you please look into this? I want a name. I want to know who's lying to me. And they were literally like, no, your Instagram profile got sent in anonymously and nobody's ever come forward with it, which seems kind of weird because if you know me, I got on Instagram literally only 2 years ago.
Right.
I had 2 pictures when they nominated me. I had 2 pictures and never liked any photo. It looked like it was a fake account. So I don't know. I was nominated. I thought it was kind of a scam. I got emails. Eventually I messaged back and they kind of were at the end of that whole process.
Mm-hmm.
And they put me on a Zoom really quickly on phone calls. And it's a pretty long process. Mm-hmm. And they expedited me through it. And then I just remember sitting with the contract in front of my family, okay, so
this is happening.
Yeah, I went through the pros and cons, and then it just kind of happened. But it was this thing that kept knocking on my door, and it was honestly the perfect opportunity where I was able to teach long distance for a little bit before I was actually on the show. And so I didn't have to miss as much of teaching as I would have before.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was a mistake that I ended up on the show, but here we are.
I'm leaning more towards you knew that person, and that person does want to be like, it was me that started it.
Right, exactly. Oh,
could be a family member, a puppy, something.
I don't know. I have no idea. So yeah, here I am.
Oh my God. Well, in learning about your background, we got to know that you were a Division I basketball player. You're also a teacher and someone who's really straightforward and never afraid to like speak their truth and just be very honest. How did you prepare yourself to engage and interact in this very unique environment?
Honestly, Division I athletics is kind of dog eat dog on its own. I was always in competitive basketball or just participating in competition in some sorts. And when you were in the room, like constructive criticism, constructive criticism, people can be mean, women can be mean at times too, especially in basketball, playing in you take a senior's playing time that doesn't
Yep.
typically go over very well, right? A lot of not so nice things are said at times, but you kind of just build tough skin and really do rely on who you are as a person, using your family as support. And so I kind of feel like, I don't know if this is a strength or weakness, but going through the Division I basketball experience that I went through a lot. And
Mhm.
I kind of feel like I can handle whatever is thrown my way, or I just know that I'll be able to get through it and have the tools to get through it. And so that was the same thing with this. And I didn't really know the reality TV world or the social media world as much as I do now.
Mhm.
So that wasn't really at the forefront of my mind, but I can tell you it was brought to the forefront of my mind when I got when I got into that bubble, when I did coming in late and with everything that was thrown at me. So it definitely
Mhm.
has come in handy. And now on social media, there's a lot of haters out there. So
Mhm.
it,
I love that you said that how sport prepared you. Being from Indiana myself, going to Indiana University, we believed in life is sport and sport is life. And now living in New York, I was like, if I can do what I did then, oh, I can just, yeah, it's fine. So that totally rings true. So when you went from the Bachelor to the Bachelorette, what was your process in terms of deciding how are you going to helm your own season and, make it your own?
I think my biggest focus was it is a show. It is a show where the leads typically haven't looked like me in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a lot of conversations very upfront with executive producers, even during the Bachelorette interview process, with things that were non-negotiables for me and things that I didn't want it to be, it's not a one size fit all. I
Mm-hmm.
I had other things that I wanted to speak about. I had Black stories specifically that I wanted told, that it was really important for me that there were certain things that were not cut out when my season went through the editing process. And so those were things that I was definitely thinking about. And then for me personally on my end, really asking hard questions about race, about experiences up front, and not having producers try to control my conversations and just kind of being upfront. Like you said, I'm a very blunt person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask these questions because I need to know these things up front, because I'm not going to spend energy on, certain people who don't align with certain things as a
Yeah.
Black female. And
Mm-hmm.
so I set those boundaries very clearly and said, like, if I'm going to sign on this dotted line, you're going to know these things about me. And there was respect at that time, like going both ways. And so that's why I was able to move forward. But I definitely I came guns a-blazing. Like I came ready to throw those questions out there, regardless.
And as someone who watched it just personally, there would be times I would tear up because I was so excited to see that you were able to pose certain conversations and that you didn't like try to hem and haw, like, this is what it is, this is the reality. And if you don't see it that way,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. And it's just, it is a reality TV show. And I get that. And that comes with a lot of different things. But at the same time, it's like if you want us to have real relationships and real feelings, then there also has to be that part where there's real conversation. And those are my real conversations for
Mm.
sure.
Well, we've all dated at some point, but few of us have done it on TV in front of all of these different people. What are tips that you learned that benefited your mental health and kept you grounded in this process?
I will honestly say that, so when you go to like dating in the public eye, it's really weird because when you go through your experience of dating, it's first not in the public eye, it's being filmed and it feels very public, but like you're not actually dealing with like the reactions of the public quite yet until after that certain experience is over.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I there's always that fear of like, okay, well, what kind of edit are you going to get?
Mm-hmm.
I will say anyone going into that position, if you do not waver from who you are, you will be fine.
Yeah.
Because you're going to navigate how you would navigate in life. And you might make mistakes, but those are mistakes that you make in the real world as well. But for me, it was just, if everybody is doing one thing and I don't
Mhm.
believe in that, or that doesn't go with who I am as a person, I'm not going to do it. There's power
Yeah.
of suggestion. And it might seem like, okay, you have to be, you're forced to do this. No, nobody, there's nothing that says you have to do this, you
Mhm.
have to say this, you have to gravitate towards that. Like, you, it's put out there and you can either take it or leave it. And a lot of that was me really leaving a lot of things in that first season of The Bachelor and saying, that's not who I am. I'm sorry, but that's not who I am. And I can't speak to that, or I won't, I can't say that, or I can't bandwagon hop. And I think a lot of people really get caught up in that. And that really hurts afterwards. It's a huge learning experience because, one, come off as like a really mean person or a nasty person or not who you are, and you have these regrets. But if you are consciously thinking through that, then it's you,
Yeah.
and you can handle that.
Mm. And there's a lot of people in this group are single and they are interested in dating. So as you navigated each of your dates, whether they were, one-on-ones or group dates, what were qualities that you were looking for that were red flags that you wanted to avoid?
I think it was really just, you're in a situation that's not normal.
Hmm.
And so I think a lot of people, when you get into like a weird situation, it's like awkward. And that can be like a huge turnoff.
Hmm.
Honestly, typically in like the normal world, that would have been like a red flag for me. But in this situation, it's more like, okay, so at the end of the day, yes, you need to be able to relax to be able to get to know somebody. But like,
Hmm.
if you're too smooth in front of the camera, if you're too comfortable with 50 people watching you kiss,
Right.
like, why are you here? So that was kind of my red flags, as the people who like were almost too smooth with things. Like, I always messed up. I tripped, I fell half the time. I stumbled over my words. I could laugh at myself. It was uncomfortable to just like be in this situation at times because, again, there's cameras and random people staring at you with everything you do. Sometimes I'm standing there by myself. So it's like somebody who would come into that and like be awkward with me in that and just kind of like grow into it, but like be real. That's
Hmm.
what I was looking for sure.
Mm. And for fans of the show, we all have our favorites, whether it's hometowns. I always love it when Franco Lacosta is there. He's one of my really good friends. He shot me years ago. So shout out to Franco. I know he's not listening, but he will later. What were some of your favorite moments in your season of The Bachelorette?
Oh gosh. Honestly, night one is just something that I'll always remember, is because it never kicks in that you are the bachelor or the lead, bachelorette or the lead, until you're standing there and then you're like, oh shit, like there's limos that are starting to pull up, and you're there, and you're there in a way where you don't have your phone, you don't have your family to talk to, you don't have your friends, like it's just you, like you're sitting in your own emotions.
Hmm.
And it, like, I had this moment where it just like dawned on me of, I'm the bachelorette. Like, what am I doing? And it really was a magical night because it was all about excitement. There's going to be drama, but none of it really just emotionally affected me. And it was just something that I just kind of embraced every second, even though it was a really long night.
Mm. And how long is that night?
So I think I had, don't quote me
I'm not
perfectly,
going to quote you.
but I think I had the longest night in Bachelor history for that first day. I started at maybe like 3 p.m. where I was actually in my dress
Mm.
at 3 p.m., like dress, hair, makeup, everything done. That means that I was in the makeup chair at like 12 p.m. But
Hmm.
mine lasted until I got to bed finally at 11:45 a.m. the next morning. And so that's what we would tell. That's like what the producers would tell the guys and stuff the next night, because they'd be like, oh, we're so tired. And they're like, we took our group picture at like 9:30 a.m. for you guys, and you went to bed, but Michelle had to recap all of you. So it's a long night. It's a
I had
really,
no idea. I thought it was like 6 hours.
no, it's adrenaline, because you can't start filming until it gets dark.
Right.
And then there's a lot of guys that you have to go through, and everyone's kind of learning the ropes of everything. So yeah, it's a long one.
Wow. Okay. That's a new nugget for me. Well,
Yeah.
you filmed over the course of a number of weeks, participated in so many activities, had a lot of conversations. How did you incorporate self care so that you could like achieve some sort of a balance and feel like yourself?
Oh, honestly, I'll say that's probably one of the hardest things for the leads is that I went off of like 3 hours of sleep for the first few weeks. And for me, I do fairly well with no sleep. So I was
Hmm.
able to do that. And I just kept thinking, like, I went back to that athletic mindset of like, you just got to push through. Like, you got to keep grinding, smile, like, smile on your face or whatever, however you're feeling, but it's tricky. You don't get time alone. You don't get time to yourself unless you are like looking at the inside of your eyelids and like completely sleeping.
Well, that
So
that takes me to my next question. Since, when you weren't dating or filming, how did you pass the time? But you're like, we didn't have time alone.
you don't have time alone. When I was a lead, you're with somebody 24/7. When I was a contestant on The Bachelor, as you start to get further out and there's less women there, it goes like you don't have the cocktail parties, you go straight to, the ceremonies. And so you do have a little more downtime. I will say that when I was a contestant, I definitely did find downtime fairly frequently because I learned that you could just, instead of asking, can I go take a nap? I would just go take a nap. And because I was usually one of the people that was like not participating in drama, it would take them like a minute to realize that I was
Like,
gone.
wait.
Right. So then they'd have to come looking for me, and that'd give me an extra 20 minutes. And then,
Wow.
you just sleeping in other places. Like I slept under a lot of tables or like behind the couch. And yeah,
It's
it's
like
like
a
a fun
high
little
go
game of
seek.
hide and go seek. Exactly. Yeah. A little TLC.
Exactly. So, from a Bachelor Nation perspective, there are a number of commitments that you had from the tell alls and after the final rose. What has been your favorite part, of this whole experience? And I know one of our viewers, Catherine, was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Well, to you and Catherine, it was just very much being able to bring my family and friends along for the ride because you get to go do a lot of really cool things. And there are a lot of perks to it. Those perks don't come free. They definitely come with stresses on mental health, with just being in the public. But,
Yeah.
being able to travel different places, being able to go do things like Jingle Ball. I got to bring my parents to Jingle Ball. I got to take my friends on a really cool excursion trip. And there are a lot of fun experiences that you typically wouldn't get having, it, I've been in this role, and it's really cool to see them and like their faces light up and to like have them be a part of it.
Mm. And what are your go-tos in terms of chatting with other people in the Bachelor universe? Do you have like, I've always heard, obviously, there's like the chats that you guys all have, but do you kind of have your core click there?
Yeah. I think, well, I have my girls that I'm very close with. I'm close with, Ryan Claytor from Matt Season, Bree Springs, Serena, Becca, I think you find people who you really align with. And even though you haven't known them as long as some of your other friends, you just get so close so quickly when you're in a similar situation and you've all dated the same person or just, just different things that the public pressures that the public puts on you. And so I definitely have so many different group chats going on and keep in touch very well with all those
Mm.
people.
And for those that are, listening now and those who will read it later, what are some dating tips that you would suggest to those that may be, getting out there? I know that has been something that there's so many people to name. I cannot say how many people ask that question, but they want to
Well,
know.
everybody getting, oof, that's so hard getting back out there. I used to actually be a very closed off person, and I would give a lot. I would love very hard, but like when it came to talking about emotions and feelings, whether it was like friends, family, relationships, I was really comfortable with somebody else sharing. And it was a very, I created a safe space for them to share those things with me, but it was really hard for me to share that back. And the
Hmm.
show truly taught me how relationships and even friendships can flourish when you are truly vulnerable, when you're truly yourself. And
Hmm.
be honest from the get-go. And it really does just help things blossom. And it's scary because you're scared about rejection. You're scared about somebody not liking what you're putting forward. But if that's the case, yeah, it might sting initially, but essentially you don't want to be with somebody who doesn't love you to your like complete naked form. And so, and so that's what I would say is be vulnerable, be truthful right up front. And if they don't like it, then they're not your person.
Once again, it's like, you can exit.
You save time. The door is right here. Exactly.
So one of the things I really enjoyed about the season as you navigated the journey was you focused on talking about, your identity, the pressures around it, and the importance of acceptance. Why was that so important for you to drive that awareness to people?
For me, it was just a huge part of who I was. I grew up in Minnesota, and I grew up in an environment for a very long time where I was the only person of color.
Mm-hmm.
And that created a lot of just different awarenesses for me. And it was something that I battled with, even like my relationships going forward. There were certain conversations, or not even conversations, there were certain debates that were happening in a relationship where I didn't want to have to explain those things. I shouldn't have to explain those things.
Yep.
And so in order to make sure that that didn't happen again, I had to have those conversations. And I think I didn't realize how much it was going to connect with people to see that side, but I'm very happy that I was able to show that.
Yeah. I mean, I remember watching it. I was just like, thank you. Thank you. Like, whether it is based on race or just being acceptance as a person, like to say those things and to be so vulnerable, it was just so touching. It was like inspirational Michelle. Like every episode, I was like, tick, okay, that works.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Well, since the conclusion of the season and after breaking up with Nate earlier this year, how did you take care of yourself and heal from that relationship so you could move on?
For me, dating in the public eye, dating in the public eye is one thing. Breakups in the public eye are really difficult. And with that relationship, I think what pushed me and challenged me to move on as I did was I was continuously being hurt by the actions of this other person. And so that really forced me to make sure I did my healing very much upfront, that I healed fully, that I was creating a healthy thought process in my mind, and I was responding to different things in a healthy manner, because that was the moment that I realized, your emotions could get very out of control and could be at the expense of what somebody else is doing or what the public is doing. And I knew that, okay, I'm going to have to see this person dating somebody else, physically see it, which you might not have to do when you're dating somebody, normally, right?
Yeah.
Or you might have to see them more. People are going to speculate things. It's going to be a constant talk. You're going to constantly be attached to that person. And so I just really took that and realized that I need to give myself closure. I need to make sure that I'm confident, like within myself, that I'm fully healed within myself. And self-talk was a huge piece of that, of just really reassuring and kind of sorting through my thoughts as they were coming through during that breakup, so that I had control of my emotions, I had control of my pain, and that I wasn't just receiving pain from outside sources.
And as a whole, what did you learn about yourself?
I learned that I can truly give myself closure without getting it from somebody else. And I didn't realize how powerful that would be. But I think in relationships, when you go through a breakup, especially, if it's not what you first thought how things would go, or maybe you're on the receiving end of it, you want to look to the other person. Like we talk about that closure conversation, right? You want to get closure from that other person. And there are times where that is just not going to happen, or it's just not possible. And so what are you supposed to do? Leave it unclosed for the rest of your life, right? And then it's out of your control. And so for me, the biggest thing that I learned or showed myself was that no matter what situation happens, I can give myself closure. I don't have to have all the answers, and I can still give myself my own answers enough to be able to move forward. And that right there is something that I if that's the only lesson I take from 2022, I'm 100% content with that.
Mm. And, you know, I know you're out in LA. Why did you decide to take a break from teaching?
With teaching, the last 2 years teaching through a pandemic, the things that teachers, if there are any teachers on here, by the way, I thank you for everything.
Mm.
Nurses as well. They're just so much was impacted by COVID. And with teaching, yes, being the Bachelorette and teaching at the same time as my season was airing, that was stressful and maybe expedited things a little bit more than they would have just been teaching. But I was getting to the point where I was so burnt out. And I knew that that summer I was not going to be able to recharge fully to the point where I needed to get to. And to be honest, the school year beforehand, I felt like I was going, and a lot of teachers alongside of me felt like they were going into that 2022 or 2021 school year not fully recharged after COVID, because we just weren't taken care of by the school system, by the education system. And I just needed a break and I needed to take a breather. And I honestly know that it was the best decision that I could have made. It was not an easy decision because I left college so passionate about teaching, and that whole entire profession is built on passion. And when that cracks, and if we don't take care of that, then we're going to just continue to have even bigger and bigger issues. And so for me, it was me like looking at myself in the mirror and saying, I need to acknowledge that I need a break right now. And this is something that I want to come back to, or this is something that I want to do a passion around, but I can't return this next school year because I just need to take a breather. And there were a lot of teachers right next to me that have had to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's sad because it's like another breakup. You don't want to break up with one of your passions. You don't want to do it. So yeah, it's been tricky.
Well, I think checking in with yourself and finding that balance, whatever, you know, that means, and being able to recognize when you're feeling overwhelmed or burnt out is so important. And although it may not be for everyone, what were things that you noticed that were signs that you needed to take the time?
I would say just not being able, like I just, that feeling when you wake up and you're just not yourself. I'm an early riser. I'm a get up at 5 a.m., hit the gym, you know, respond back to my friends fairly quickly, family, like organizing different activities. I'm a very like upbeat and bubbly person.
Yeah.
And I was just exhausted. And I was still able to do those things. And I was able to like keep up those things, but I wasn't happy doing them necessarily all the time. And it's just, I was definitely run down.
Yeah.
I could just feel it, and just getting sick all the time. You know, for me, it tends to show, like my stress tends to show in my physical health before it does like my mental, emotional side.
Well, you're adamant about using your platform to educate others. Why is being an advocate for mental health so important to you?
For me, just really making sure that youth, especially youth of color, understand that it is okay to ask for help. It's okay to talk about your emotions. I used to be this former athlete that was, you're taught to be, have this thick skin, you know, rub some dirt on it, which yes, there's a completely a point of when you fall down, bounce right back up. But if you're hurting, it's okay to talk about you're hurting.
Yep. And that's actually something that I talk a lot about, whether it's with my sister or other people. And I'm like, but it's okay that we're saying, ouch, like we can be strong and we can trailblaze and be unicorns, but we still bleed, we still bump. So what have you been doing outside of the Bachelor universe since you're out in LA, living your best life, having amazing pictures?
I'm laughing at that because like this is like the biggest question that people ask me. I mean, if you look at all the haters, they think that I just schedule random photo shoots and take pictures of myself. I promise you I'm doing more than that. Okay. Or just, yeah.
You're a whole person.
I'm right, believe it or not. But if it's not on social media, it doesn't happen. Apparently.
That's right.
But oh gosh. But really right now I'm finding that next piece of how can I fulfill my passion of giving back to others, working with children, helping the youth, motivational speaking, all these different things, and kind of figuring out that brand of who this next Michelle Young is. And I do have a lot of very exciting things that are in the works and that haven't come out yet. And so I can't say too much, but you will definitely see me speaking. I will put it at that. I'll leave it at that for now.
Because I always envision, I'm like, am I going to see her acting, doing some film videos, honestly, collaborations?
I'm going to do it all. I'll say that.
Okay.
I'm going to do it all. You're going to see me walking a red carpet. You're going to see me motivational speaking. You're going to see me, you might see me in and out of some schools. You're going to see me everywhere.
One of the things I really liked is when, you were in that transition from teaching to all the things that you will be doing in the future, you were like, you know what, I'm going to be doing some influencer work and I'm going to take a percentage of whatever it is that you're making and put it towards these various charities or charities that, people who follow you like you. Why did you want to be accountable and share that with people? Because you didn't have to. And why did you just want to do it in this way? I think,
okay, so for me, anytime someone says the word influencer, everybody cringes.
You just did a little bit right now.
I was like, right? Because I know, right? Because you kind of like know what that word casts on some people. And there is such thing as like positive influencing. Influencing is such a tricky game to play. And especially coming out of the Bachelorette, a lot of people, or the ABC Bachelor, Bachelorette show in general, a lot of people tend to go the influencer route. And what that has meant in the past is, you're doing different brands, you're going to these carpets, you're right, like you're doing all these different things. For me, yes, there are products that I would 100% recommend, whether I'm getting paid or not. But I want to change the influencing game, because you do have a platform, you do have a voice, you can encourage these products and these brands that are working with you to give back as well. You can bring, your viewers in with it. You can create an entire message that goes with it, like the ice bucket challenge, all these different things that were started. Social media has so many negative things about it. And this could be a positive one. And so that's why, is because I want to challenge not only people who follow me and my supporters, but I also want to challenge the brands that work with me also give back, because then ultimately we're doing a really good thing. I love that. And, now that you're out in LA for a while, what are 3 places? So it's a 3-part question. What are 3 places that you enjoy grabbing a bite? What are, where do you love to shop? 3 places. And what are, 3 workout fitness studios you like going to? So we'll start with 3 places that you like to grab a bite or a cocktail. Oh, wow. Okay. So these might not be as great as you think, just because I really have been bouncing back between LA and Minnesota quite a bit. And then I just got done with this like period of time where I was like, got really sick, then I was healthy, then I was sick again. Whoever had that mysterious illness that's like not COVID, not any of the influenza, I was like, yeah, that knocked me on my butt. You are not the only one. I have a number of people who are sad to not be here today because they have that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's not great, and you're turning the corner for like what seems like forever. But one of my favorite places to eat, honestly, would probably be Catch. I went there with who is it? I went there with Caitlin Bristow. That was a really awesome spot. Where else have I been? Elefante. I feel like everybody says that one, so I gotta say it. And my third one, I'm gonna keep to myself because it's like a hole in the wall place, and I feel like if you give it up, everyone's gonna be there. You won't have a seat. Yeah, right. Exactly. Or people will go looking, Exactly. You can keep it to yourself. What are 3 places that you like to shop at? Oh, honestly, probably anywhere at the Grove. I'm a Nike girl. I don't know if you wanted me to say like a dress place or something, whatever. Like Zara or whatever it is. No, like let me go get some sneakers real quick. Definitely that. Anywhere else at the Grove. Other than that, I honestly haven't done that much shopping recently. Target. I'm a Target girl. Target is always at any Target. Target is probably like, you ask about how do I like take care of my mental health? Target.
Because you
Target.
go in, you're like, I need lip balm. And then $100 and some later, look at all these things.
Yeah, exactly. And then you leave without the lip balm
That's right.
and
I mean,
everything
well,
else.
you have to. That you get like on
And you gotta go
Amazon. And
back.
then, yeah, you got to go back.
That's why we forget it, is so we can go back.
Exactly.
100%.
And what are 3 like fitness studios that you like to go out to? Or I guess maybe parks, because I know Griffin is really nice.
Yeah, I have not been to too many fitness studios yet. I've avoided Equinox. No shade on Equinox. I'm sure I'll check it out eventually, but I literally just went to LA Fitness the other day. Otherwise, I'm a runner. I'll go outside and run. I haven't done too much here. I've done a lot of like at home stuff. I have like dumbbells and weights here. It's like that. But when I'm at home, it's Lifetime Fitness is my go-to.
Nice. I love Lifetime Fitness. They have an awesome facility here in New York that I'm such a fan of.
I'm so jealous. The nearest one is like 30 minutes away. So
really?
Hey, honestly, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. Let's shout them out. Maybe we can get one built like across the street or something.
They're like, hold on, Michelle.
Yeah, let's go.
So, we know you love staying active. We know you like to run. Are there two other things that you like to do in your fitness routine?
Trying to get back into pickup basketball, that cardio, running up and down the basketball court. Whew, that humbles you real quick, especially when you get back. That, and then honestly, swimming. I grew up with a pool, did a lot of swimming laps, such great cardio. Anything where I can get out and about. I'll go play tennis with my parents. They're like amazing tennis players.
Wow. Very nice.
Winter sports, I'll ski a little bit. But
nice. I'm a snowboarder, so
I'm jealous. Honestly, I want to learn how to snowboard. I never have up until this point because, just athletics, our coaches, they would not let us snowboard because so many people would get hurt.
Well, you break an ankle.
Now I can flail down the diamond all day, even though it just might end up on TMZ or something.
Yep. It's like, oh, yeah,
free entertainment for y'all. Yep. Yard sale. My hat's over here, my gloves over there. That's all right.
Oh my God. And what do you want your legacy to be in terms of the impact that you've left with, those around you?
I think it's incredibly important that people do not continue to stop learning about how others around them work or think, and really just being open-minded to learn. And I think that comes from a huge part of just going through the experience that I just went through, where you really are a rare breed, which is sad to say, but as a woman of color, and just being from Minnesota with everything happening with George Floyd, cultivating young minds to accept those around them, to think outside the box, to not always necessarily go about life exactly how everybody has in the past, to challenge things, and to ultimately just be a kind person and to give back. And once you make it to the top, to be able to like extend that arm to reach down and help others up and show them the route and be able to give back to them, so that when I'm no longer here, somebody that I impacted is now making it their mission to impact somebody who's below them. And then that's what I call like a legend, or like leaving a mark, is that the cycle doesn't stop once you're gone.
Absolutely. And the final question, which I had, and also Shanmelina had, if they're in the room, is, are there projects that you're thinking about being a part of that you can share, whether it's a specific project or just an area of a vertical of something that you want to, tackle?
I've worked a lot with kids, and I would say that I will definitely be around students. I definitely will be around young minds very, very soon in the near future. And I've worked a lot with, done a lot with Be the Match, and giving back to that as well, and raising awareness for that. And I wish I could name a few others, but I can't quite yet. Maybe
but it's coming
a few weeks down the road. But keep your eye out for sure, on social media, on TikTok. You will definitely be seeing some new inspirational things coming your direction for sure.
Wow. Well, I am so excited that you took the time. Like I said, I've liked you from the minute that I saw you on The Bachelor and loved you on The Bachelorette, hearing obviously about how we know you, but also all these other things that you're doing and how kind and genuine of a person you are. And, we're all about self-care and being well and just being that 360 person that we need to be. But the leadership that you're doing, that regardless of who you are, you can enjoy, but especially for people of color, that they can see that in themselves is just so, so exciting. So I'm so excited that you were here to be a part of VOT3D, and also to have some of our friends in here listening who are also cheering you on. And I just can't wait to see what you're doing because you're just such a fun, happy person.
Well, I do appreciate you having me on here. And to all of those who are listening, thank you so much for your support. It's been a wild ride. I've been off social media for a little bit, but you'll definitely be seeing more of me for sure. But I truly do embrace what you're doing as well. And being able to kind of help me extend that platform with my voice and my message and what I'm saying. And so all of that circles back to you for amplifying that as well.
Thank you. And for those listening, she will be in our 84th issue that drops on December 30th. Yes.
Oh, let's go.
I mean, just time just flies. So hopefully those listening will be able to listen to that or to read that. And we will have this video that's up so that, other people and fans of yours who love you can support this and watch it. And just thank you so much for taking the time. I mean, if there's anything else you want to share with us, let us know. But I know we have to release you soon.
No, I think unless you guys have more questions, you can throw them my way. But other than that, this has been absolutely.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much. Everyone knows here from our side that we always love to play games and innovate with people and have fun times. So we have a fun kind of a treasure hunt that you can see online, like to get the answers or whatever. So we will have 5 questions that we're going to ask. They are not about Michelle. They're just pop culture questions. And whoever answers in the chat box first, you can send us an email or we'll email you so that we can give you some fun prizes. We have, as I grab my tablet again, I got so into the thing, I was putting it down, forgetting it had to come back up again. So all of you know, for those that signed up, that we're doing a giveaway. So that is separate from this fun treasure hunt that we're doing. So the questions that we have, our first question is, for our treasure hunt, focusing on, just things of excellence in terms of the giveaway item that you're actually receiving from it, is what movie stars Brad Pitt, Joey King, Brian Tyree Henry, and Sandra Bullock? So it's a movie that has come out pretty recently. Michelle's like,
So I'm so bad at pop culture. I can't even I wish that is one thing I wish I could work. I need to work on. I'm so bad about this.
Well, at Athleisure Media, we are all about pop culture type of questions. So that will happen.
You type them in the chat box?
Yeah, you should be able to type them into the chat box. So whoever says it first, as I try to pop my box up here, because it was up.
I know, I want to see if
you can Google the answer too, guys. I'm not gonna. Well, maybe they were like, wait,
Bailey looks like she's got to know the answer.
Okay, hold on. Guys, hold on. Okay, I'm looking for Bailey. I don't know why I'm not seeing.
No, she doesn't. I just called her out randomly. I'm sorry, Bailey.
Bailey doesn't know. Bailey on blast. Look at that. Well, we have, while someone's coming up with this particular question, we have 5 items that we're going to be sending out to you. So whoever answers this question will be getting one of my favorite brands, Allies of Skin, which is actually for all skin types. And it's amazing sleeping mask that everyone should want to have. And I suppose if Michelle ends up Googling this and getting this question right.
I was trying to Google Bailey's answer to see if she's right. Okay, the Lost City, Bullet Trainer, any of those correct? You said Brad Pitt and Sandra Bullock.
Brian Henry Tyree, Joey King, and Sandra Bullock. So we just recently saw this movie. Currently on demand.
To be honest, the last movie I saw with Sandra Bullock in it was The Blind Side.
Oh, wait, hold on.
That's how out.
Wait, Paul, what did you say, Paul?
Bullet Trainer?
Yeah.
Victoria, you got it? Okay, thank you. I don't know why I'm not seeing it. Okay, so if you hear me talking to the side, Paul, who's the other co-founder, who's silent. So is it Victoria? Can you write that down? So Victoria, you are correct. Sorry that I can't see it for some reason. So it is Bullet Train. We're going to be sending out an Allies of Skin product to you. We will email you since we have the email address so that we can send you this fabulous product. Our second question is, where is Fish by Jose Andres? So he's a great chef who also, in addition to being a great chef, he is a part of World Kitchen, which does a lot of things with like refugees and different things like that, to make sure that when there are different hard things that happen, he creates a whole kitchen. But this particular place is in a very interesting location. So Paul, is someone raising their hand or saying they know what it is? So you can Google these. So it is called Fish by Jose Andres.
Oh.
And Paul is being so kind to read these answers, but he is being shy, not being on camera. But those of us who, if you've ever seen our behind the scenes photos, photo shoots, Paul is always there. He is the co-founder of the brand and also my boyfriend as well. So he is subbing in and playing around and catching the answers that I can't see for some reason. Babe, do you see another?
Okay, I don't want to give it away. That's cool though.
Right? I love fun pop culture things that you could write to figure out for later to do something. What is it? The prize for this is Tony Moley, who's this really cool K-pop or K-beauty brand that has little pumpkin retinol eye patches. So it's called Plumpkin, but it's pumpkin.
I've actually used those before, and they do, because I get really bad like under eye bags.
Same.
Are they shaped as it? They're not shaped as it, right?
They have the color of it, and they have the little shape.
Okay, like, that's what that. Okay, they actually work really well.
So has anyone? No one's popped. Okay, so we'll circle back to that second question. I won't say it. So we're gonna move on to the third one.
I mean, before I hop off here, I have to head to another meeting, but I just wanted to say hi and thank you so much.
No, thank you.
And whoever gets that question, I wish it was like a reservation there, because
right. I mean, well, they're in the future. We will do something that the thing actually would be that. Michelle's like, I might come in there and be like,
exactly. Let's go. All right. Nice seeing you guys.
Nice seeing you. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you. Bye.
And thank you to Michelle's team, just in case you guys are hopping off too. I definitely appreciate it. Thank you, Sherry. So the third question, we're going to move on for anyone who still wants to stay, is what is the middle name to this recording artist, who's also a pop star and actress, who recently married her longtime love, who is an actor and producer, in the most anticipated wedding of the season this year. So it's someone who we've known for a long time, wanted to get married, took a very long time for it to happen, but then it did. What is her middle name? And Paul will help me out by looking in the thing, since for some reason I still can't see it. The whole question. So the next question is, what song is now platinum and is nominated at the 65th Annual Grammy Awards for Record of the Year, Song of the Year, and Best Dance Electronic Recording? So that would be the Grammys that's coming up in the next few weeks. And with this one, we are going to be giving away a candle by GBY, which I am a huge fan of. It is aesthetically pleasing, as well as having guava in it. And the final question is, the song Tukoteka is part of the official soundtrack for FIFA 2022, which features Nicki Minaj, Miriam Fairs, and which Colombian singer? So FIFA we're about a day or so away from it completing. It's the World Cup, it's soccer. They have kind of like their national anthem of a song, or not a national anthem, but the main song for their event. Who is that third person that is a part of it? This particular package will have whey that is with it, which is Jen Atkins brand, and it is a oil for hair, which is amazing. And it's definitely been one of those go-tos.
Okay, now just close out the event.
Well, I want to thank everyone who's been playing. Thank you so much. Like, it was so fun to hang out with you guys. I also want to thank Michelle again for, taking the time, hanging out with us, talking to her about, her time on The Bachelorette, her focus on life, self-care, and mental health that she does, and also what she's doing going forward. I think there's a lot of takeaways that we can have with that. And we definitely appreciate her being here with Voted.io for our virtual party that we're doing, to have that conversation with her, and for you guys being able to come and also to continue to see what it is that she's doing, and also to see the types of really fun, things that we do. And hopefully for our next event that we have, whether it's in person or virtually, you guys will, circle back again with us. We'll definitely send an email to recap everything in terms of the giveaway and those who won items from our treasure hunt that we just did. And I just appreciate all of you guys. I hope that, you stay happy, healthy, and safe, and also have an amazing holiday season. And on our end, I'm Kimmy Smith, and I can't wait to hear from you guys again. And we appreciate you all coming together.